Okay, it seems it's working. Hello, everyone. I hope people are fine and safe in spite of this very challenging, hard, and exceptional circumstances. My name is Simona Martorana, and I am a PhD candidate at Durham University in the Department of Classics and Ancient History. And my research focuses on Ovid's Heroides, actually more specifically on motherhood within the Heroides, but I'm going to keep it general for this WCC UK talk and just show you a couple of interesting things going on in this collection of elegiac epistles as they are. Now let's start from the very beginning, indeed, from the most basic thing. What does it mean Heroides in Latin? Now, heroides simply means female heroes or heroines, as you prefer. Now, when you think about, nowadays, when you think about a female hero or a heroine, what do you think about? What's the first image coming up to your mind? Well, unfortunately, you cannot reply to me, but I guess it's kind of Supergirl, Batwoman, very recently released, an interesting, I would say, TV series or whatever TV show, whatever it is, and Wonder Woman or a female hero in antiquity. Well, I was born in the 90s, so my main thought goes to Xena, which is, of course, very interesting in terms of the reception of the classics in TV series of the 90s. There will be plenty of papers to write about that. I'm not going to focus on this topic, unfortunately, I would say, but in this talk, maybe another time. So, okay, why are they called heroines? Uh, well, what's this is a work written by Ovid, a male poet, but it's staged, and this is quite peculiar, as a collection of letters, poetic letters, written by female characters of mythology to their partners. So that's why they are called heroides. They are called heroines. Now, for many reasons, this Ovidian work was not really taken into much account by scholars until I would say, the end of the 70s, the 80s, and then it started being explored and I would say, investigated through gender-based readings and gender-based approaches only at the beginning, from the beginning of the 2000s onwards. So what I'm going to do now is building on these latest works and showing you how actually the Heroides feature continuously gender role reversals, and there is a certain flexibility in terms of gender categories and fluidity or queerness, although like this word has to be used very cautiously, I would say, fluidity of not only gender relationships or roles, but also social and familial roles. Let's have a look at three examples in particular. The first one is the very first heroine of the collection, the first letter of the collection, Penelope to Ulysses. Now, as you may know, Penelope has been waiting for 20 years now for Ulysses to be back. So it's quite expected that she writes a letter, and that's the very beginning of her letter, as well as of the collection. And she starts in this way: from Penelope to Ulysses, her dilatory husband, writing back is no good. Come in person, of course. I mean, when are you going to come back? It has been 20 years, right? Well, okay, nothing strange here, if not the use of the adjective lentus. Well, lentus, in this case in the masculine, in elegiac poetry in Latin, that is erotic poetry, okay, love poetry, is used by the male poets to indicate their beloved, their girl, which is in Latin is the elegiac puella, and who oftentimes is lenta for many reasons. Now, attributing lentus to Ulysses is quite weird here, and an educated reader would have certainly spotted this kind of weird use of the word of the adjective lentus, because in this case it's attributed to Ulysses, right? And it's a way through which Penelope starts challenging, I would say, expected, gender balances and relationships, at least on a linguistic and lexical level. Okay, let's move on to another very quite well known, I would say, uh, heroine and hero, you know, this is a scene from the film Troy, and this is the third letter, Briseis to Achilles. Now, as you may know, Achilles gets angry at Agamemnon because he thinks that Briseis has been taken off from him quite unjustly, right? And so he refuses to go back to battle until Patroclus dies, right? So this is all about shame and honor. Well, in this letter, actually, Briseis tells a quite fairly different story, and in particular, she suggests that there are other reasons why Achilles is not going back to battle. That are, of course, the fact that fighting is not really the most pleasant thing. So let's have a look at the text. If anyone asks why you won't go back to battle, fighting hurts, but the lyre and song and love are enjoyable. Of course they are. It's safer to lie on your couch with a girl in your arms and play a tune on the Thracian lyre than to hold a shield and a sharp-pointed spear and support a heavy helmet on your hair. So where is the Homeric, the traditional, shame culture, the honor, which is the main point, the heroic honor in the Homeric world. Well, according to Brace, it's not there anymore, and Achilles just not has not come back to battle just because he prefers other things. As it's quite reasonable in a way. Let's move very quickly to the last example. Uh, this is basically the ninth letter, which is the Anaira to Heracles. Heracles on the left, because he's very well known to be, I would say, a great hero, very strong, muscled, as you can see. Great. Well, in this letter, I'm not going to read the passage though. Well, Deianira tells a different story of Heracles, i.e. the episode of his cross-dressing when he was, I would say, enslaved by Omphale. He was, it's a kind of, it's called in Latin servitium amoris. It's a kind of love enslavement, but still, Heracles, as you can see from the picture on the right, is actually performing very feminine tasks like weaving, and he has actually, I don't know if you can see, okay, I think so. Um, and weaving, also wearing quite effeminate, I would say, quite effeminate attire. Now, these were like the three examples I've used to show you this very, peculiar gender role reversal happening in these epistles. And you have here a basic bibliography. And thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you have enjoyed the talk. Please stay safe, take care of yourself, and goodbye.